Oh, hey friends, welcome to the vibes.
That was so good. That was so.
I enjoyed that Jamie Foxx special. I know that you probably saw it. This is one of our honorable mentions, actually, just so you guys can be
Yep,
aware.
on Netflix.
So, yeah, that Jamie Foxx special.
I
I
saw it.
actually, I actually really enjoyed it, man. It's not a special in the sense of what you think a Netflix special is. Your idea, because typically a Netflix special was like, if you're a lit comedian, you get a 1 hour special on
Comedy
Netflix. They,
show, you know what
yeah,
I
it's a comedy
mean?
show.
Set up,
Yeah,
punchline, set up, punchline,
yeah.
set up, punchline.
Yeah, but this was actually more of like the way I honestly the way I saw it. This was actually more of a testimonial. Like he had some, Jamie Foxx. One of the things that I like, one of the things that I love about Jamie Foxx, he's actually one of my favorite people. Like just people that
Hmm.
I'm not like personally connected to, but just one of my favorite people on this planet is Jamie Foxx. Number one because he's extremely talented. We all know he's like a three-sport athlete.
He's a leaving. He's a living legend for
Yeah, he's a
sure.
living legend, and he's elite
Yeah,
in all three categories, right? As far as music, as far as acting, as far as what is it? It's music, acting, and the other one is comedy, right? Obviously,
yeah.
comedy,
Stand up
right?
count. Yeah,
Um,
which is brings us to this thing.
yeah, which brings us to this, right? So in this special, he explored all those. He illustrated all those talents, but he also was able to connect with people about a real life event that happened to
The
him.
dude almost died.
Right? He actually almost died. Right? This guy actually almost died. Um, the crazy thing is, if he would have passed away, it would have been I mean, it's a massive legacy he would have left behind, right?
Yeah,
Um, but because he attributed a lot of it to his faith, which obviously I'm a man of faith, so he attributed a lot of his second coming, his rebirth in a way, his healing, his entire healing and recovery process to his faith, to his family, to his friends, and also to just like the people who really support him, like his fans, just all the prayers and all that
he
stuff.
says
So
Atlanta saved his life
that his line says,
multiple
yeah, he
times.
said many times, many times. Um, so I mean, there's quite a few things I can mention about it, but I would like to just swing it over to my brother so he can maybe share his thoughts on it as well. What did you think
What
about it?
I like about this is what it reminds me of what I liked about Gerard Carmichael. He's another
Mm,
these these comedians that I like because of their introspective, nuanced view on their own existence and how they relate to their career and to
yeah,
the
yeah,
fans, stuff like that.
mm,
And why it reminded me of that, because like you said, this is not your typical um special.
yeah, yeah.
There's this form of comedy that some of these folks are leaning into now. And
I know what you're talking about. I
I
know
think
exactly what you're talking about.
Marlon
Yeah.
Wayans actually did this in his last stand up, and I really liked his last stand. The
Mm,
latest one I didn't like it too much.
mm,
But what it is, it's that it's more of a one man show. It's not a it cause there's these things that, well, Jamie Foxx specifically.
mm,
Gerard Carmichael, I could see being a testimonial kind of thing.
yeah.
But the best term I think of for what Jamie Foxx did is a one man show. In the one man show, because he
I see what
gave
you're
you
saying.
all of the
Oh,
things.
yeah, he gave you all of the talents. Yeah, absolutely.
The typical one man
Mm,
show is a Hollywood kind of term where somebody's it's just is this all acting
mm-hmm,
generally?
mm-hmm,
Is one person, they have monologue after monologue, and it's sort of like exploration of their inner thoughts, and they're just on this stage by themselves. Matter of fact, I went to a one man show one time where the audience was in a kind of like I don't know if they call this a rotunda kind of setup,
mm,
where the audience is in a circle in some stands, and the one person is standing in the middle of the room
mm,
instead of like the stage typically where the stadium style seating,
mm-hmm,
where the stage is up front and people are sitting in the rows, whatever. And so like the one man show, this person goes through this dialogue, they go through this entire evolution of that character or the narrative of whatever um tribulation that they're going through, right? And you see them all to the other end of it all.
mm-hmm,
Jamie Foxx is up there. He's giving you some comedy. He's giving you some music. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
He's giving you some storytelling. There's a lot of time you're not even laughing on it. I'm like, yo, this nigga trying to make me cry.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to make me cry, but he's not even
Mm.
really trying to make you cry. He's like, yo, I'm telling my testimony,
He's recounting the events from
like
top to
you're
bottom.
saying.
Yeah.
And he is feeling these emotions raw on the
Hmm.
stage. And I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, it wasn't
try.
fake. It
I'm not
wasn't
gonna
fake
try
at
to
all.
recall and like restate all the things they say. You gotta go watch it and give him his due
Yeah,
respect. But it's
absolutely.
also the part of like he brought his daughters out on this
Yeah, they
joint,
bought
bro.
his.
It's
Yeah.
like they were doing stuff on there,
Mm.
and it's like, bro, he is a cultural icon,
Mhm.
and it's wild. We almost lost him. Um,
And he's actually one of the things that I want to mention too, bro, is like he's actually one of the few like
good
good
dudes.
dudes. Like he's a good dude. Like people who talk
Yeah,
about him, like in Hollywood and all these different places, they all say the same thing about he's a solid brother. Like
yeah.
he's a solid dude. So like you hate to see like someone like him go through something like this. So
Side note: this is random tangent, but that Jimmy Foxx show, I used to love it,
oh yeah, I love
particularly
that show. Yeah.
because of what's it, Garcelle Bouveau.
Garcia Buffet, yeah.
That that lady was fine, boy,
She was fine. I ain't gonna hold you.
and she's Haitian.
Yeah, and she's Haitian,
And she's
yeah.
Haitian, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that lady was fine,
Yeah,
bro. When you saw the Jimmy
absolutely.
Foxx show, and he used to be hitting on her hard on the show. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know if you can get away with shows like that these days, but like that joy was amazing. Jimmy Foxx
Mm-hmm.
show. The show on Netflix though is called What Had Happened Was.
Mm-hmm.
So look that up. Tell your friends about it.
Yep.
And we're warning you. You know what I mean? It's an emotional
Oh,
roller
absolutely.
coaster.
Absolutely.
Speaking of a little bit of sadness, also in the same vein, Nikki Giovanni died. Uh, this is a legendary black woman poet, American icon.
Mm.
She's was a civil rights activist in her right, you know, speaking on the black movement and black empowerment and black love from the 60s and 70s kind of thing. She would I think she won a Grammy actually
That's
for
crazy.
her spoken word. She had a spoken word project. She won a Grammy for that joint.
Bro, she don't even look 81, bro.
Yeah, she died at 81. And icon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, she looked
icon,
like she
bro.
had full of life. That's crazy. She like she could live like another 20 years. I'm
Yeah,
looking
but
at her right now, like, wow.
black don't
Uh,
crack, man.
But I grew up on your movies.
Are you older than me?
Yeah.
Really? I wouldn't have thought so. How
Why
old are you?
not? Well, we maintain.
Uh-huh.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm 54.
Get the fuck!
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so loud.
I'll be
I would have
55
guessed
on
10 years
Thanksgiving.
younger than
Exactly.
that.
10
No
years
shit.
younger, yeah.
Yeah, look at you.
It's hydrating, and
You moisturized?
I'm black.
Yeah. Oh, that. Well, you are.
Rest in power, Nikki Giovanni. You know what I mean? You did great work while you were here. You helped push the movement forward. So we just take a moment to give that tribute. Last one real quick in the honorable mention. I want to shout out um TV on the radio. TV on the radio is a rock band that had they recently had their own tiny desk. Now this is so dope. This is such this inside baseball almost kind of thing because TV on the radio, their first album was like I was probably like finishing I was probably out of my bachelor's degree, maybe 2003,
mm-hmm.
2005,
Mm.
somewhere around there. Um, and they are they're black. So it's like they're the entry point for a lot of black nerds, black rock, like lovers and stuff like that. Well, not just black rock, but like rock music lovers. If you're black and you're like, oh, I like rock, and these rock stars look like me,
Mm.
and they're making rock music, and they're black. Very unique stuff. Listen to them on Tiny Desk is very nostalgic. You know what I mean? A lot of their old stuff, and I forgot the name of the lead singer, but he still sounds the same. Again, black don't crack, not even the voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
They dropped their last album was in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the last time they actually had a project out. So it's a black indie rock band. We are a lot more now expanding our palette as a community. these days, and so we can appreciate the new age black folks that are making music that are rock and rock adjacent. Even though really that's where we really had a
That's where we
start
yeah,
with all that.
where we started from.
We kind of got away like, but like growing up in certain communities, black communities, you didn't know about Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
Even Lenny Kravitz was like, you didn't know about that. You know,
Yeah.
Prince really is rock star, is really, you
Mm.
know what I mean? Michael was the pop one.
Mm.
Um, but Hootie and the Blowfish,
Yeah.
right? With Darius Rucker being black,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are rocking with that's a little bit more country, but that was alt rock and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we like rock music too, and there's representation there, and that representation matters. And TV on the radio is one of these classic bands. They were saying, and one of my favorite kind of Tiny Desk is when they do kind of like inside like information kind of thing they provide, or like how the making of a song or the trajectory of the band, how they got where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they do sometimes these performances are just straight music.
Yep.
I appreciate it all, but they get to know the band a little bit better in this one. So I definitely recommend checking out that Tiny Desk and all of the Tiny Desk series. Did you find something about them at all? Did you look into them at all?
As far as TV on the radio,
Yeah.
yeah, I was looking at them. I thought that's kind of dope because they're from Brooklyn, New York, right?
Hmm.
So I was looking at them and I was just kind of like, that's. I don't know how I would respond to that. It feels so weird, like experiencing
You
them,
just don't.
right? And
Yeah.
you just don't see that, like the sound that they make,
Yeah,
from
I got
them.
on them pretty late. I didn't get on them back in
Yeah.
when the first debut album. I got on their joints probably like maybe 2012, 2013 era.
Mm.
I was really starting to explore my rock bag in college, really,
Dang, I was in a rock phase like
Hmm.
years ago though, um, and it probably was in college. It's so crazy how college exposes so many different
This is
things.
where I mean, you learning something, but you know what did it? You know what did it for
Yeah.
a lot of folks is
Mm.
Madden. Playing Madden, exposing you
Oh,
to
that's
bands like Good
true.
Charlotte,
Yeah,
All
yeah, yeah,
American
it's true.
Rejects, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I want to get away. That's your Lenny
yeah,
Kravitz and stuff
yeah,
like that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You start seeing the possibilities
That's
of what
true,
music can
actually.
be, and
No.
what you're like, oh snap, I was bobbing my head to this. I didn't even realize I was
Mm-hmm.
doing that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And then you realize that Red Hot Chili Peppers has a lot of funk influence in
Mm.
it, and
Yeah.
there's like a lot of bass. You like your bass? Boom, you go
Mm-hmm.
check them out. You know what I mean? Limp Bizkit,
Yeah, yeah.
even Linkin Park
Linkin Park, yeah.
was having rap in their stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there was a bridge. There's a bridge that happened for a
yeah.
lot of a lot of black nerds was really the ones that really got over there early.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, I like to count myself amongst the fold.
Mm-hmm.
But I generally like music of all genres, and so I was inevitably probably going to end up finding my way
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But yeah, shout out, yeah, TV on the radio with
Yeah,
the
man, that's dope.
funky name like that. I always like that name as a band,
Mm.
TV on the
On the
radio.
radio, yeah.
And everybody who knows anything about rock is like the band name is like very important. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's
that's
very
true.
important. Like what you name your band after.
Mm-hmm.
First feature album for today's show is Khalid. Came out with the new project in August, and we're finally getting a chance to talk about it. It's called Sincere. It's been 5 years waiting on him dropping something.
Mm-hmm.
He's been more of a like a because we still hear his voice and stuff. He's more like a feature. I feel like he's been more like a feature artist. Um, guest appearancing on people's songs and stuff. Uh, he did have he did have a project in 2019. I'm not sure if they distinguish between that if it was a studio album or they classify maybe it was a just like a, a EP. I'm not sure, but um this joint, like I said, been 5 years in the making. We got 22 tracks from this dude. So
Mm.
it's like I'm like, oh well, I'm generally not a fan of these albums that are over like once you get over like 13, 14 songs, I feel like something went wrong with your curation process. you know.
Mm.
Um,
I
and
see what you're saying about his old project. Cynic Drive was a mixtape. That was in 2021.
okay, that was
Yeah.
mixed. So I don't think
So
he
it was
had
a
like a
mixtape. Yeah.
studio album.
It was 2 years before that he had a studio album called Free Spirit.
Free Spirit. Yeah, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
that's
like
why I
like you
said it's been
mentioned,
like
Free
five
Spirit. Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
you spot on.
so this album is over an hour long, 22
That's
tracks.
that's a lot. That's a lot of material for an album, bro.
It's been 5 years, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like I want your joint to be like nice, concise, and like
Mm.
polished after waiting for you for 5 years. Now we only do music here that we like, we enjoy, that we could recommend people listen to. I'm not gonna
Mm.
give this. I'm not saying a bad review, but it's not a perfect album,
Mm.
right? Matter of fact, I think it's a lot stronger um towards the back half of the album. Uh, Nothing happened through the listening of this. Nothing happened that was groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that's like, yo, I see why he was waiting 5 years and working on this thing for that long. But it's enjoyable. It's a lot of it is you could put it in the background and like not focus in too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's smooth. There's like a not a lot. The production is really nice. It's very pleasant to listen to. I think that's like, but that's also it feels kind of like meh when I say that. But it's
Mm.
like it's enjoyable. It's
Mm.
pleasant. You know
Mm.
what I mean? But
Mm.
nothing to write home about.
Mm.
But Khaled, if I mean if you've been waiting for 5 years and you're a fan, you might as well go check it out. I'll say definitely start off. There's some good songs on there. You know what I mean? Start off with Heat Stroke. I really like that track. It's a summer bop, although it's coming out in winter, you know. But I could see it being a summer bop.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's giving Post Malone vibes. And you know,
Okay.
Post Malone is pretty much pop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of a rapper, but it's pretty much
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah.
So he kind of sounds a little bit like Post Malone, but you know, Post Malone makes songs for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what one of these kinds of songs. I think the album overall closes solid. So if he was to curate this better, maybe one or two tracks from the front half of the album, but then like definitely like the last tracks,
Mm-hmm.
6 or 7 tracks, maybe to come up to a total of like 11 or 12 songs
Okay.
overall. So that's Khalid's Sincere album. Check that joint out. Moving on to Smino, maybe in Nirvana.
Mm.
This is a project that I learned Smino has was written and recorded back in 2020 during the pandemic, and it only just now recently got released
Mm-hmm.
in December. It was unexpected. There was no promo. It's also a short album. So I mean, like, so it's weird. It's a short album. I think the total listen time was I don't think I wrote this down. I think it's less than 30 minutes, bro.
Hmm.
I think it's less than 30 minutes. It's been 2 years since his last project, Love for Rent. It's he gives you the jazz rap, neo soul,
Wow, that is a short album.
trap soul kind of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very distinctive vocal style. It's almost like his voice is another part of the instrumentation. There is some strategic auto tuning in there that like makes it very explicit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're just gonna use his voice as an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
But like he just switches up his cadence here and there. He'll just switch up his rhyme flow, his rhyme scheme, like on occasion. And the thing is that he's a rapper singer, but he really leans into the singing thing, and he can actually sing.
Mm.
So it's very much melodic rap, neo soul melodic rap. It's kind of genre bending, but it flows. It's cohesive. This He got this track Miss Joyce with Bun B, and he goes, look cool. I don't know. I can't rap this joint, man. I can't do it like he do it. He said, "Look cool when you see me. Same color tortellini. Pockets used to be bulimic. You wouldn't believe it. Someday wanna be like Jesus. Other days, young Jeezy." To the bag, I pledge allegiance.
Oh my
President,
gosh.
I just got impeached. Nigga ain't even sweet. Fuck Trump. That was that was it.
That was
That
it.
was the bar. That was the bars, right? It's I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, but he does a way better job
Yeah.
than I'm able to do it here. But probably my that was funny, but that was just an example. You got several different funny, quick, in there. Especially like you listen to the interludes. The interludes, guys. He's funny in the interludes and stuff. So I really like. That's when I know he's getting comfortable. He's getting in his bag. But
Mm.
my favorite track on the whole thing is this track called "In Sync." Um, the music is so vibey and so smooth, and especially I can't help but get sucked into the drum line that's on there. I thought I wouldn't be surprised if that's Questlove.
Mm.
Those snares and the hi hat, the way it's particularly tuned, it sound like it could be Questlove. You know, what I mean,
Mm.
I couldn't discover who was on the drums for that, but
Mm.
shout out to Smino. It's a really enjoyable project. I wish it was a little bit longer. Especially the type of music that he makes it feels improvisational almost. So it's like, dude, just let it ride for a little bit
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
You know? Westside Gunn is out with Still Praying. So this is the trilogy to the praying kind of concept albums that recently he's put out. This one came out in in November. Um he is very confident in this joint, coming across artistic. This is like a free man, right? It's like this man is like just being free on this joint. And DJ Drama is on this joint talking spicy, right? And you know how DJ Drama is when he's on these
Yeah.
on these things. So I think it's a
Yep.
mixtape. I think it's a mixtape. I didn't see anything saying that's a mixtape, but it comes across mixtapey. There's some there's a track or two where like they like hit that rewind like 4 or 5 times. Stuff that you would do on a mixtape. Like you start rapping and then do the bar and then and then like and then you start rapping and do the same bar, but like they just put it on
Oh, I
repeat.
heard that in a
What you
long
what you do on
time.
mixtape? They do that on
Yeah.
mixtapes. You know what I mean? They kind of
Yeah.
like rewind kind of thing.
Mm.
And so that's why I'm thinking it might be a mixtape. But this project had way too much going on for me to think that's a mixtape. Like there's like, but then again, maybe it is because there's like 5 or 6 different producers
Mm.
throughout the whole thing. It still comes across cohesive. So like he's a pretty good selector of for his style
Mm-hmm.
and for Griseldo's style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's all blends together as if it was 1 or 2 producers, but there's
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 different producers on this joint. And his style of rapping is conversational almost.
Mm-hmm.
So he really don't need a beat. The beat is there to just like kind of add a little, you know what I mean, a little je ne sais quoi to the background,
Mm-hmm.
and so you just hear him talk. You know what I mean? I think Biggie Smalls had the line where like, you know what I mean, sold out seats just to hear Biggie Smalls speak. You know what I mean? You just want to hear this dude talk. Westside Gunn be just talking that talk. He's don't even. He said in this joint he's talking about. I don't even care about rap, bro. This dude got so much going on. You know he's got a wrestling promotion. He's got a wrestling promotion
Mm.
freaking company. Fourth row.
Apparently, I'm seeing the album cover.
It's called Fourth Row. Yeah, that's called Sid Vicious. He got
Yeah.
Sid Vicious on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
He's really into wrestling, and he
Yeah.
grew that passion to end up having his own promotion company.
Mm-hmm.
He's walked out, to the ring, wrestlers for their events, for the main events and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Westside Gun is out there freaking spitting. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
like so, he's got all kinds of ventures on, and actually he's like I think I think I looked this before. He's listed as the owner of Griselda. Like the like he is Griselda. You know, while he's busy doing
Oh,
all his other
interesting.
promotions and all that stuff.
Okay.
These artists are under
Know
him.
that.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so he stayed busy. He's got a lot going on, and then he still has time to come drop this project on your neck and just talk mad trash.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his kid on there. You know what I mean? Talking crazy. You know, it's beautiful stuff that he could just and I of course am always on the lookout for anything Griselda. They have I I would suggest checking out the title track, Still Praying. All the heavy hitters came out.
Mm.
All of them showed up for that joint. We're talking about Stove God Cooks was on there. Conway's on that bit. Benny shows up. Freaking Boldy James, of course, who never sleeps, who never sleeps, is on that bit. It's 7 minutes of heat, and that beat is just menacing, and it just repeats and loops and loops. But again, like with this Griselda joint,
there's bars after bars after
you're just looking for bars.
yeah.
Bump the background, really. What's going on? You
Yeah.
just need something to kind of melt it together. So like, bruh, and they just like going in. It's almost like they could have done that whole joint a cappella. They could have done that whole joint a cappella, and it was and it would slap. So shout out to Griselda. I would love to get a whole nother full Griselda album, but that track, 7 minutes long, all Griselda folk. You know what I mean? Definitely. That's food for my depraved soul, bro, right there. What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, cause I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe, so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too. Next up we have 070 Shke. The album is called Petrichor. This one also dropped in November. You know, we've had a lot of albums going past couple months, November and early December. It's been kind of weak the past couple weeks, but like we've got a lot of stuff in the backlog there. Petrichor is a weird word. It's there's a term for everything, but you know how that smell, Jeff, when like it just rained, especially in Florida. It was in Florida and it rained like 3 o'clock in the afternoon every day. So it'd be sunny, it would rain, downpour like crazy, and then the sun would come back out.
Yeah.
That certain smell that you get from like the soil just being freshly wet, the pavement is rising up, you know what I mean? That city smell. There's a term for it. It's called Petrichor. That fresh smell right after it rained.
Yeah.
And so that's what this album from
I just think of a guy just randomly walking down the street after it finished raining, like,
what's that? What's that? It's Petrichor. Somebody defenestrate this SATS nigga, dog. Right. Both of y'all getting thrown out the window.
yeah.
With that bullshit, dog.
Come on, man.
The 070 is coming out of Jersey. You listening to this album, you may not even recognize that she is a rapper. It's a rock heavy alt rock. So this is that alt rap. Also, a couple times we mentioned like there's blending of the genre of rock and rap, where if you have something, for example, we talked about I mentioned Linkin Park before, and rap music and rock music combining. They had that album with Jay-Z, Collision Course. I think that was the concert series or the tour. It's called Collision Course. I know they had the album, and that was a rapper rapping over rock music. So Jay-Z was doing his Jay-Z thing over, but like the way that this alt rap is happening, it's the melodic rap that's happening with the rock music. So it's almost like, is this rap or is this just like normal emo rock, or is this just no? And they just happen to be a black person, or is this alt rock and they just happen to be a black person kind of thing? But it's expected that 070 would be allowed to expand this particular way. She's a good music artist. You know, Kanye is very experimental. He allows her the freedom to expand that palette, expand what we think of when we think of rap music. Now this right here pushes it to the limit. I'm gonna be honest with you, it really pushes it to the like. It's a great sounding album. The vocals are amazing, and the production is gonna sound amazing. You're gonna be in good music. That's what that's what they do
Yep.
in terms of the production value of it. If Kanye is gonna be involved in that joint, um, it's a pretty seamless blend of diverse style of music. I hesitate though to call it rap. And even though she's a rapper, maybe you don't make a rap album. Maybe this is just a rock album from rap because like that what's his name? Lil Yachty Let's Start Here album.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think that's a rock album. Really. I think that one was a rock album. Lil Yachty, we know him as a rapper, and there's some spoken word and stuff like that. So I guess you could disguise it as that. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna be the one to hold 070 back. This music is amazing. It's melodic, like I said, genre bending, and it's one of those things that helps you expand your palette.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of expanding your palette, Moose Dawa, the project is called Paramnesia. Moose Dawa is a Swedish producer, and this is firmly in the lane of chill hop. Um, you have a very close cousin in lo-fi music, right? And so this is kind of like lo-fi with the heavy hip hop influence.
I do like lo-fi. I do like lo-fi music.
My joint is always gonna be recommending lo-fi music because I listen to it so much for studying,
Yeah.
for just vibing out, playing video games. Don't have lo-fi playing in the background,
Yep.
or just in the house on a Saturday morning or something like that while I make some coffee or something like that.
Mm.
Have the lo-fi going in the background, but this one is a little bit more melodic and it's got more emphasis on the beat. Sometimes you can listen to lo-fi and it's like it's not consistently rhythmic, so it still sounds great, but it doesn't get you like, yo, I want to get up and dance because that's distracting. You don't want to distract. You want something that will like help you chill out.
Yeah.
And so this vibe right here that Moose is bringing is inspired by him growing up listening to artists like DJ Premier, Ninth Wonder, shout out
that's
Jay
cool.
Dilla. That's another one. Pete Rock. I watched a video where he was he does it old school. He goes to a record store. He's got the record store owner hits him up and like, yo, I got some new stuff in. He goes to the record store, gets these vinyls himself. He digs through the crates. You know what I mean? Like people don't do that. A lot of people, they just go online and get the digital copy, whatever they're doing. He goes to the crates, brings that bit home, spins it up, you know what I mean? And finds nooks and crannies and crevices and like little samples from that joint, and he uploads it to. Matter of fact, the video was from what's this thing? There's this Reason Studio. Reason Studio is a software engineering music project thing that you can use for your computer. So he, upload a sample to that and like and mix it up um it and it just makes beautiful music out of this thing.
I know what you're talking about. Reason is for some of you who may not know, Reason is similar to like Fruity Loops, Logic Studio, Pro Tools. They are called digital audio workstations, so DAWs. So that's what Darwin is referring to. These are programs that producers.
I know that
use
was
to
the
make
official name
music.
for it, DAW. Digital audio.
Yeah,
Yep.
DAW. Mm-hmm.
It's a whole studio rack.
Hey, Reason been around for a minute too.
Yo, he first got
I
on
remember that from way
Reason.
back in the day. Yeah.
He got a pirated copy of that joint. Somebody gets it on the USB.
Most people did.
Got that bit on USB. Got pirated and working on that bit, and now he's actually doing this. Like they're interviewing him and like putting him on their promotion and everything like that. This is that grown and sexy stuff. This is grown and sexy vibe. I think a dope opportunity for you to put this on is you with your girl, you going on a date, you driving, you throw this on in the car. Now, Paramnesia, the name of the album, that's yet another word. That word is something to do with like memory, like a memory. You think you have a memory, but it's like hazy, right? It could be something like when you get deja vu, the way that feels, right? I think it's dope. Like you're in the car, You're going on a date again,
Paramnesia.
gross and sexy. You
Mhm.
got your blazer on. You know what I mean? She doing her thing, and you just put this like kind of low on in the background in the car,
Mhm.
and y'all have, and it gets the background for a conversation,
Mhm.
and y'all could just chop it up and just reminisce on some of the good times that y'all had.
Mhm.
Reminisce how y'all made y'all journey. Y'all got up to there. The album is a reflective. It's supposed to induce reflection, and fond memories.
Mhm.
So try it, give it a try. It could stir up some things, you know what I mean? And y'all get a chance to chat rather than having some music on that's like blasting lyrics and stuff like that, which is cool.
Mhm.
But like, it's a chance for you that 20-minute ride, you know what I mean? Y'all get to connect. And this in the background is that lubricant for that. So I definitely,
Yep.
definitely check out Moose Dawa's project there. Final joint for man, how much time we got? Bro, how much time we got? Cause Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre coming to the front of the congregation
And back at it
with
again.
Missionary. Snoop is a national treasure. We all know this.
Mhm.
But I would say the last time that I listened to a new album, like I might revisit Doggy Style every once in a while.
Mhm.
But outside of that, any one of the like newer projects, bro, I ain't been checking for Snoop since No Limit. I ain't really been checking for Snoop since. I've heard some other projects here and there after that, but I get that bit one spin and I was out.
Uh huh.
Right? Um, but you already got my attention when I saw that joint drop, and it's called Missionary.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, Doggy Style. And then mission, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm like, Missionary. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? These different sex positions, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm like, they're trying to do something here.
Mhm.
And with Dr. Dre, that was Doggy Style,
Yeah.
bruh. 46 minutes of heat, 46 minutes of fire. I don't know what Snoop was on, but I feel like he was on some Kendrick energy where Kendrick feel like he has to prove a point.
Mhm.
I think Snoop was like, yo, I'm about to let these fools know why they call me Unc. Put some respect on it.
Mhm.
Uncle Snoop. Um, a lot of this, a lot of this album spoke to his legacy,
Mhm.
but he didn't have to rely on his legacy to create new content.
Mhm.
Sometimes some of these older artists, or we may call them legacy artists,
Mhm.
is all they're doing is recounting their old work in their lyrics.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I did this thing. Remember when I did that thing? I did this other thing. You know what I mean? And I worked with this person. This all lyrics, and I was like, oh, this is so boring. You know what I mean? And that's the whole. Maybe you have one track or two like
Mhm.
that, but it becomes boring. But he only does it a couple times. He mentions some things,
Yeah.
and then the other times that he does it, it's Easter eggs. Like if you ain't, you know what I mean, if you ain't know it's 6 in the morning, you know what
Mhm.
I mean. Like when he drops that bar somewhere, like it's just like another lyric to, but like for the heads, for the true heads, you know what I mean, they know what he's talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, he I we talked about one album last, I don't remember if it was last session or the session before, where I was like, yo, this got to be the most expensive album ever made because they had so many features and so many samples
Oh
on
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I don't remember who
I
that
forgot what
was.
album that
That
was.
might have been, was that Gene Dawson? I don't remember who it was.
It was
But
somebody, but they blew it back on that album.
they blew back on it. But Joe,
Yeah.
you got Dre, a whole billionaire.
Mhm.
Snoop, he's mad paid
Yeah.
on this joint. You know how much it would cost for freaking Dre to come out of the house?
For
You
real.
got, and then there's a lot of sampling on this joint. Um, dude, they got Sting on one of the tracks. Sting on one of these joints. They got Tom Petty. Not only they have Tom Petty, who, rest in peace, Tom Petty. They got the family to release the samples from the Tom Petty track. I think that's the last Dance with Mary Jane joint. Beautiful song, beautiful track.
Mhm. Mhm.
Got his harmonica in there and everything. And put all this together like Snoop, Dre, and Tom Petty? Who was waiting for that? Who was looking for that? I didn't know I needed that. This joint is so clean. Dr. Dre, literal PhD. I don't know how you could be better at producing like a clean sounding, um, just there's no wasted note anywhere in this album.
Yeah, that's Dr.
There's a
Dre.
couple
Yeah.
tracks that might not be as like as it's not, some tracks not gonna top the charts. It's not gonna be for everybody. There's this one track I know that's like, it's not my favorite track. I listen to it, it's cool, but I know it's made for the concert. I know it.
Yeah.
It's made for the tour. It's made for the freaking concert.
Mm-hmm.
There's this there's a beat switch in this track, Hard Knocks. That's when I got chill bumps. I was like, I've been enjoying this. I'm enjoying this, and like, I'm like, bro, it's like somebody plucked him out of 1993 and dropped him here
On this album like that.
on this album. But how about this? It's so weird to try to describe this thing because he don't even sound like that same Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like a completely different artist. He sounds like a brand new artist that I've never heard of before that's just coming out with some fire.
Yeah.
His voice doesn't even sound old. He sounds like any new artist that would be out right now. Like some, but he's not talking like young boy shit either. But he's just voice just sounds so fresh. His style just sounds so like remastered or something. He don't even sound like that same Snoop. His cadence is different. But it's not, it's good. It's good. It's like, yo, you did that and you're doing this. Like you spitting rhymes the way like new age, like rhyme flow goes. And these schemes, the way they like, and you're doing it as Snoop. I know it's you because I know your distinct voice, but he ain't on no like fascism, my nizzle, all that kind of stuff. He ain't doing none of that shit.
Yeah.
That boy just got bars for you. And like, granted, there's like, I'm sure there's like a lot of writers on here as well, but like he had to deliver that joint. He was a writer as well, and Dre had to match with him, and he had to match with Dre. I'll give a special mention to Drink Champs. Dre and Snoop go on there and they have an interview and they talk about the making of this project and all that stuff. It's an awesome experience watching them go through that. They even came out with a short, bro. They came out with a short film. These fools was working
really
on
came out
it.
with a
Bro,
short-
Snoop was out at the Olympics.
That's
When does he have
crazy.
time for this?
Yeah.
Snoop has more jobs than
Short film.
Ryan Seacrest, Mario Lopez,
He got more jobs than Shaq.
and Kevin Hart and Shaq combined.
Yeah.
Snoop stay working,
Yeah, he do be everywhere.
and he
Snoop
got a
really be everywhere.
blunt with him everywhere he go. He's the only one that can do this in America.
Snoop be
Special
everywhere.
rules for Trump, special rules for Snoop.
Yeah, apparently so.
All right, you know what I mean? And we are all cool with Snoop doing Snoop.
This
He
is a
was on the
wild-
wine
this is a wild-
game.
This is a wild album cover too, by the way. I just wanted to mention
You
that.
see it?
I
see that
joint? Your boy Wildin'.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. This joint dropped in December. Noms don't come out till September. I'm not gonna be surprised if the album doesn't get nominated for best rap album. Nominated. It's at least going. Some of a song or two is probably gonna be nominated.
But you know what? It's telling that like some of these old heads who've been in the game for that long, man, their albums getting serious consideration. Nas, Killer Mike, yeah, and now Snoop, like of course Jay, you know what I'm saying? Like these older guys who've been in the game for a minute.
Those
albums now.
But another point off of that too is that
And Andre 3K didn't have anything else to rap about. But
he gonna come out. They're gonna force his ass out the closet.
Yeah, bro.
Out that flute closet, wherever.
Yeah.
Dog, the West has been up.
Yeah.
K Dot,
They've been winning a lot.
Ice Cube dropped a new project. Ice Cube's project. Respect the G, respect the OG. Love NWA. Really love some of Cube's early stuff. But this latest album is really sounds like old man yelling at kids to get off his lawn. It really it was like I was like okay, and his rap scheme ain't fresh like Snoop is.
Mm,
He hasn't refreshed himself.
mm.
You know, LL Cool J, another one dropped a dope
Oh
ass album.
yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah, he did
Dropped
drop
another dope
some.
ass album,
Yeah.
and although he still has remnants of like what LL we knew him sound like, he
Mhm.
still added freaking new elements to his game.
But the thing is,
And,
but the thing is that, but they're like two different rappers, right? Like Cube is, it's hard to kind of grow out of that that gangster rap he came from.
bruh, you
And
saw
LA Cool
with
J was a
Snoop,
spitter. LA Cool J has always been a spitter.
well, yeah, there's that.
So he's always gonna be able to find a way to kind of revamp himself in a way because he's always just been a spitter like off top. Um,
Snoop did it.
like but Snoop, but the thing is like, but Snoop, his style was the reason why Snoop has been able to survive for so long because he's always just been. Snoop has this charisma that
It's
just
the charisma, boy.
it's the
You can't
charisma,
fake
like you
it.
know what I'm saying. Like his you can't
You
fake it.
can't fake that.
His charisma literally
Yeah,
like standing the test of time, like literally.
yeah. I mean,
So
from a guy from
yeah,
a guy who is in the streets like the way he was to the
mhm,
point where he's like he's got Martha Stewart on speed dial now.
yeah,
He runs a whole football camp and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right? This guy is carrying the flame at the
At the
Olympics.
Olympics is crazy,
Snoop,
bro. A rapper,
Death Row Snoop,
Death
like
Row Snoop,
a
yeah,
rapper from
the
the
same
90s.
same guy, yeah.
Same guy,
Yeah.
and he's kept it a buck. He's kept it, and we've seen his growth
He really is
through
a
it
global
all.
icon for real.
Global
He
icon, like
really
one of
is.
these people. Like
Yeah.
you just as scared as we was when Jamie Foxx had that scare.
Hmm.
Dog, the day's gonna come. I don't even want to say it. I don't
Yeah.
even want to say it. We need to protect Snoop
Yeah.
at all costs.
Yeah.
Um, I Exhibit might be dropping a new project. I think actually
Exhibit.
he will. No, I'm
Okay.
telling you, the West is up. Eminem actually
Yo.
dropped a recent project.
Yeah, I heard he
I didn't
did. Yeah.
like that Eminem project, but apparently a lot of people liked it.
Really, I heard somebody say that it was mid. I heard somebody say it was mid.
Well, I didn't like it. I didn't even think
Mm.
it was mid. I didn't like it.
You know, like oh,
Um,
okay, yes. First of
uh,
people say it was mid, but damn, I
and
guess he has
and,
some
and
people
yeah,
like it.
Exhibit. They working with Exhibit on his new
Hmm.
project. So the West is up. The
Mm.
last thing I'll say about this joint, yo, mad respect is the first rap album I ever purchased myself was on tape, and it was Doggy Style.
Oh,
That's the
stop, really,
first rap album I ever purchased myself. Like
bro. If you still had that, you know how much that joint probably would be worth.
it was on
Dude?
tape,
If you had that, what if you had? What if you still had
and
it?
they had the dog the dog trying to reach on the dog trying to
Yeah,
grab booty on
yeah.
that joint. Um, I mean, there used to be this thing that come. I don't remember. I think it must called Columbia House. I don't remember if people out there remember. The
Columbia,
millennials
yeah,
remember
Columbia House, yeah,
Columbia.
yep,
You
yep.
pay $1 and you get some CDs and kind of stuff like
Hmm.
that. This was before. So Columbia House, yeah, I got music and stuff like that from them at
Hmm.
that point later, or I record my own tapes
Off the radio.
off radio and stuff.
Yep.
But like
Yeah, all
my
the time.
first legit purchase. Like no, I purchased this with legit money and I
Mhm.
own it. It's not. I'm not scheming Columbia House and nothing like that. Was Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style.
Mm.
Freaking and it
Dang, I don't,
one of the greatest albums of all time. And that bit was on tape.
bro. I think dang, that's so crazy. It makes me. I'm wondering, like, damn, what was the first
And now
album
this
that I
dude is
ever
dropping this
purchased?
freaking beast of a project, Missionary,
Mm-hmm.
in 2024.
2024 is
And I'm
crazy.
not saying I've been a Snoop fan the entire time,
Mm,
because I told you I felt like after No Limit I was off of it.
mm,
But I remember that first album. You remember your first,
yeah,
and then he's dropping this joint.
kind of
It's
sound like
get,
you.
it's
Kind of
it's
sound like
gonna
you're
be
obligated,
get
bit,
nominated,
to
bro.
you
It's
might
gonna get nominated.
you might have to get
So-
this on vinyl, bit. That would be crazy. You got this on vinyl.
Did you say did you say you remember what your first?
No, I
Uh,
can't remember like what my first one was, the first album that I actually purchased. But I want to say it probably was, bruh, it probably was Trick Daddy. It probably was one of those
Was it
Trick
Trick?
albums.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
I
No
think it was.
Limit. It was no limit. Was you into No
No,
Limit back in the day?
no. I was more into like I was more into the Hot Boys, not really No Limit like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it probably was a Trick album. I think it was it Slip and Slide? I can't remember what it was. It was one of those. It was
Yeah.
one of those, but it was. I think it was a trick. I think it was a trick album. That's probably the
He's
first.
another. That's
first
not.
one I
That's
bought
another
myself.
legend, not just from our area, but like
Yeah.
with doing work with Uncle Luke and all these guys in there.
Rick
You know,
Ross and
these are
those guys.
rap
Yep.
pioneers that expanded the game for
Absolutely.
everybody in the rap business,
Everybody. Yeah.
not just Florida people. I mentioned the Drink Champs episode. If there's a Santa Claus, that Drink Champs episode gave me a little window into something that I'm like, bruh, I need there to be a Santa Claus. I will believe.
Okay.
If they do, bruh, please tell me they did a documentary for the making of this album. I will go to theaters to watch that joint. From the way, from the distance that it took from Dre and Snoop to come back together. Snoop owns Death Row now.
Yeah.
When they wouldn't even pay him before, they had all kinds. That's why he went to No Limit. And now he could full circle to come back to own freaking Death Row. So this album was produced by, Dre still has Aftermath. So it's Aftermath, Death Row, and Interscope all together collaborating to produce this joint. Bro, the documentary, how'd you get that family to clear this stuff for Tom Petty?
Yeah.
What's it like in the studio with Sting, with these rap artists here? Right? 50 Cent makes an appearance. Then you talking about shooting that short film with Method Man being the narrator of the short film.
That's kind of dope, low key.
And then he also gives you a verse in the album, bro. I thought this had to be an expensive ass album to make.
It looks like it, man. They got a lot of big names here, bro.
Just to get Snoop Dogg to stay in the studio for a little bit because he's busy.
But they got Jelly Roll on here too. That's crazy.
Jelly Roll's on that bit, and he's a new popping artist.
He's a new, yeah. BJ Chicago. Okay, I said they got some names on here. Of course, 50
Bro.
and M. Cause that whole Aftermath thing. So that's easy to get 50 and M on
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's.
Bro, I'm about to wear Dickies and Chucks for the next month.
For real.
Straight up. Dickies and Chucks for the next month, dog. I am feeling the West Coast vibe. Shout out to Kendrick. He still got a show in the Super Bowl coming through. Shout out for everything the West is putting out. Schoolboy Q. I love West Coast music. I've grew up down south and everything like that. But man, West Coast has always had a special place in my heart. And Dre and Snoop coming out of nowhere.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Coming out of nowhere to drop bombs on you youngins, man. Y'all like step your game up. Step your game up. This ain't for the casuals. This one right here is legacy, and it's not no washed joint where I'm giving you the hits. My old school stuff. Now he ain't. I don't think he said shizzle not one time this whole joint.
Well, thank God for that.
Not one time this whole joint. He ain't here to play with y'all. Snoop ain't here to play with y'all. And he says that he was in that studio just being a student to the game. Letting Dre do his thing and just be like, taking the artistic direction from Dre and be like, okay, boom, I got you. And so it's just freaking art on top of art on top of art. So I love it. It definitely gave us something to make it through the end of the year. I love the fact that we get to close out our year with a project like what they've given us here with Missionary. Shout out Snoop. Shout out Dre.